Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Z-CarCulture podcast. Today we've got something truly special. I know I say special a lot, but today is different.
Today you mean it.
I really do mean it because as you can tell, we've got a guest for the first time on the Z-CarCulture podcast. I'm so excited.
And this is not just any guest.
Yeah, this is
we go way back.
Way back. Oh, before we do that, we need to introduce ourselves. My name is Tino.
I'm Carz.
Yeah, and our guest today is none other than Gerald Ziva, who is the founder of Carz of ZW. Gerald, how are you doing?
What's going on, you guys? How's that?
Pretty awesome. Glad to have you here, man. This is really
it's
special.
A pleasure. Yeah.
It's been a long time coming. And guys, we are recording this podcast at Afrotopia Cafe, which is the place, if you're creative, to come and enjoy great food and also have great space to work. So be sure to check out Afrotopia Cafe next time you're in town. That is Harare. And yeah, you won't be sorry. So guys, we want to talk about cars because this is a car podcast after all.
Of course.
So Gerald, you are a car enthusiast, and I think you are a big enthusiast than all of us. Like when it comes to like knowledge of cars, you're like way up there. We're like kids to you.
I suppose that's a bit too much flattery, but yeah, I suppose.
No, it's not even too much.
Yeah.
Because I remember people used to call me a nerd.
Yeah.
I used to think I was a car nerd until I met Gerald and I paled in comparison. I was like, wow. I mean, he knows, he's being very modest. He knows everything from chassis codes, engine numbers, car brands, car history, car law, everything. He's like a walking encyclopedia of cars.
Right, I suppose passion, maybe I've only been passionate about cars and nothing else, and it's the only thing that's been consistent my whole life, my love for cars. And yeah, I suppose maybe it pays off as time passes, as time moves on.
So can you attribute your enthusiasm for cars to a particular moment in your life, or it just happened?
I think I would probably say my uncle, who passed on, say in 2005, contributed. He used to have magazines shipped to him from Netherlands, from this company called Van Vliet. So he would eventually give us the magazines, and I would spend days and hours just going through pages, looking at cars, reading. It was like a catalog for cars they were selling, right? You would look, okay, that's a Mazda, that's a Toyota. So I think by the time I was in grade 1, I could look at a car and I knew that's a Toyota Hilux, that's a Mercedes-Benz, that's a Mazda, what were the common cars we had back in the day.
And I mean, grade 1, that's quite early.
Yeah.
That's very early.
Believe me, by the time I was grade 2, my other uncles would look at any other car in the road and ask me what car it is, and I pretty much knew what it was. Yeah.
And I think now your knowledge of cars like extended to another level, because I remember a few years ago, and I won't forget this.
Yeah.
Like you were riding around in town, right?
Yeah.
And you're sitting in the back seat, and I think there was like some obscure car like revving out in the background somewhere.
Yeah.
And you instinctively went, no, that's a BMW.
He even said that's he said the you referenced the engine. You said it's like M50, whatever.
Yeah. It was an E36 that did an M50. Yeah.
No turbo. I was like, wow.
Yeah, twin cam, multi-valve. Yeah.
You see, even his memory is
It's
on point. So
that's incredible, man. So when it comes to Carz of ZW, how did that start? Like, what was your motivation to start that brand, and where do you see yourself going with that brand?
The motivation to start the brand was just like a normal teenager. You have your phone, you like cars. What do you do when you see a car? You take a photo.
Yeah.
And I wanted to share my photos. Not really to share, in all honesty, I suppose I wanted to keep my pictures so I could come back later and go through my feed. I started an Instagram account, and I was posting car photos from different events, cars I spotted, even cars that we shared in the groups. And then it was under my name, Gerald Ziva, for some time, even my YouTube channel. Then one day I just thought, what if I separate my personal life from whatever I was doing with the photos? That's when I named it Carz of ZW. Yeah.
And it's been going on.
Yes, and it's been growing. Yeah, it's been 5 years 5 years. It's been 5 years, yeah.
Yeah, time flies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've been following the page for quite a while since we met. We've actually been following it, and we've seen it grow quite immensely over the years.
Yeah, exactly.
And we've also noticed that you like to cover particular content, like specifically like car events, like motorsport events specifically.
Yeah.
Is that something that was like a decision that you really wanted to do, like particularly with motorsport rather than other events, or what? Is it the love for motorsport?
Mostly the love for motorsport. And, you know, a lot of what I do is tied to motorsport. It's like my life evolves around motorsport in a way, or one way or the other. So I suppose maybe it's just sharing. And you know what's also interesting is you would not believe just the amount of people who don't know about motorsport in Zimbabwe. So I suppose I just want to make it known.
You want to give exposure to the side of cars that people normally
don't. Exactly. People who see a Land Cruiser 300 series, they are tired of seeing Land Cruiser 300 series. It's just another 300 series.
Yeah.
But a BMW with a big wing, no headlights, looking all kinds of wrong. Yeah, it's just something different. It like takes you to a point where you appreciate the things we could do with cars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's people also share that in common, like it resonates with everyone.
Yes, it does.
People see a car that's shooting flames or something.
Yes.
Everyone is just mesmerized. Everyone's just looking at that, like, wow, that's a beautiful thing. So I can see that being the case.
I think one of the most popular forms of motorsport these days is spinning. And I've noticed that even like non-car enthusiasts are now gravitating towards it. I'm sure you've noticed that a lot because you attend these events a lot of the time.
Right. Yeah, especially with spinning, I would give most of the credit to the guys who started, the pioneers, Goofa, Fat Cat, Fuzzy. If it wasn't for their patience, they've been in the game for like 20 years pushing. Back when it was on grassroots levels, when there was pretty much no attention. They're just doing it in the wood and stuff, you know, and then it grew and they started having these events, and guys like Selector Bass came onto the scene and they took it to a whole new level. Like now it's a mix of culture, music, girls, booze, cars.
Some more booze.
Yeah, exactly.
But and now it's an official sport, right?
Yes.
Run like proper professional.
Yeah, it's registered. And you know what's also exciting about spinning is it keeps growing beyond the African borders. Initially it was South Africa, then Zimbabwe, then all of Southern Africa. Then we've got even people in Northern Africa spinning left-hand BMWs in Libya and the other countries. Yeah, and now we've got guys like Sem going to Brazil to spin. There's like 4 cars last weekend spinning in Brazil. Sem for the second time,
That's incredible.
And I just want to see it grow bigger. I would love to see a spinner at maybe Goodwoods one day. Who knows?
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Imagine seeing Fat Cat.
You know, for me, the funniest thing would be the accent. You know, the British accent, and then trying to say
Yeah, exactly. And also imagine someone with a deep Cape Colored accent spinning. My name is Kaylin. You know, yeah, exactly. It gives so much exposure to the African culture.
It would make people back home proud.
I love when every single time after burnouts, after I've uploaded reels and stuff, I'm just going through my feed and I'm looking at all these cars, no lights. It looks like something that should not be on the road, but when the car is on the pitch, it just takes you to another level. The sound it makes, I don't know.
Like even the crowd, the way people.
Yes, exactly. It puts you in a trance in a way. Just does things to you.
The guy jumping out
yeah,
the window,
exactly.
Doing laps around the car whilst the car is doing its own thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's just.
And also, what's most incredible about spinning is seeing the sport evolve. Even the spinners, they're guys who, when they came onto the scene, he knew pretty much nothing. I mean, spinning isn't so hard. Just to make a car do donuts, it's probably easier than driving, in all honesty. But to do it precisely, to know I'm going to hit this target spinning, precise spinning, takes time.
And even like, just some of those guys don't even look they're not checking. They're just
Yeah,
doing
exactly.
things
Yeah.
instinctively, right?
Yeah.
They just jump out the car and they know what the car is doing in the back
Yeah,
of their
exactly.
mind.
Yeah.
They have that assurance.
Yeah.
So it's been nice to see people who finessed the sport like to a level where it might be easy, but if you think it's that easy, then you should try and do it.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so
To
yeah,
build a car, to get it to spin, that's the hard part.
that's not that much, yes.
But yeah, we're hoping that it also continues to grow and it reaches levels that we can't even begin to fathom.
That's for sure. Yeah.
So is there any other motorsport that interests you?
Drags, 4x4. Especially, I suppose I like pretty much everything. The 4x4 side of things is what's really not being pushed enough.
Yeah, it's not.
At
But
the
I think
moment-
it's for good reason, because it's quite expensive and you create a spectacle if you fail in front
Yes,
of all.
exactly. Yeah.
But I would assume that it's less of a barrier to enter, because we've seen how many people have got Prados and 200 series and 300
Yeah.
series. So let's say you're not doing something too crazy and you're just
Yes.
doing like maybe some sort of simple obstacle course.
Yeah.
I feel like if you have a truck, it's something that you should do though, because your truck is capable of doing it.
Yes, exactly.
You know, what's
And
the point of having like a huge car like that and you just on pavement?
I would genuinely tell you this. A lot of the people do not know the capability of their cars. I'll tell you 50% of people who drive 4x4s don't know how to use the 4x4 system.
They don't even know like what that's you know, if you have
Yeah.
a traditional 4x4.
Yes, exactly. You've got a 4H, 2H, 4L, 2L, yeah.
They don't even know how to switch off
Exactly.
traction control, stability. They don't
Yes.
even know what those things are there for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just putting it in D and that's it.
Go.
It's all about the team.
Yeah.
Jeez. Why you gotta say that, man? Okay, so as car enthusiasts, right, we're quite broad in terms of what we like.
Yes.
Everyone has got different things that they like about cars. For you, what do you think that is? Is it more the mechanicals or?
For me, it's more the mechanical side of things. I'll tell you this. They say I look at a Ranex or maybe a Nissan March and I'm not interested. It's some ugly car, grocery get or something. But if it has a special engine, then I'm blown away. Then I want it. Like when I learned about the 2ZZ, then I started appreciating Ranexes and I started looking out for a subtle giveaway on a Ranex that it's a 2ZZ or like a Corolla 25.
If you find a 2ZZ Ranex, I can imagine that everyone else is just kind of confused, like, why is this guy so excited about? It's just another Ranex.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's special.
Just another Toyota.
No, it's not. That's the thing.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
So for you, it's about the subtle, like the nuance in cars, like the small details.
the small details, yes, especially the sports cars that were made on a common platform, like the Corolla RXI, which is a 20 valve 4AGE
The
Yamaha head,
Corolla RSI, which one is it?
20 valve. It's
is
from
that from?
99, 98, somewhere there.
Oh, okay. I think
So when you see a car like that, you think it's just another Corolla, till you really start to pay attention, then you know.
then you know.
Yeah.
So that sort of goes into my next question as to like, what standards do you set yourself in order to deem a car to be a good car? Like you look at a car and say a good car because it's got.
Okay, right, that's a good question. From experience, before I knew much about cars, before I started working close with cars, I wanted the unusual cars, the rare cars and stuff, something that I would only have and no one else would have, But now I know what makes a good car is availability of spares. That's the most important
That's the most
thing.
important
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. Reliability of the engine. Yes, everyone wants an AMG, but you don't want a car that's going to break and you have a $20,000 bill every 6 months. You just want a car that takes you everywhere without giving you headaches, without giving you problems. Yeah.
I think that's the growth of us as enthusiasts, because I think we've all been there where we're like, I
Yes.
just want like the rarest thing that
Exactly.
nobody else has, that's exclusive.
I want
Every
an Alpha.
teenager wants a Lamborghini, an Alfa Romeo, a Ferrari, but
But then given the reality of
owning a Ferrari, yeah. Imagine, can I ask you this? If you crash a Bentley, how long do you think it would take you to repair the Bentley? Just to get the spares to Zimbabwe?
Zimbabwe, if it's Zimbabwe, then Dude, I have no idea, but I think
Okay.
it's maybe anywhere from a month to 3 months.
Okay, we are living in 2023. There are no barriers to bringing stuff to Zimbabwe. It's just availability. That's the biggest problem. You can ship a Toyota from South Africa to Zimbabwe in like a day, or even from Japan in like a week. You can have your spares from Japan to Zimbabwe. Yeah,
That's impressive.
yeah. Depends how much you want to pay. You can air freight your stuff and no worries, no stress. Yeah.
So if you've crashed a Bentley now,
A Bentley, now the hard part is finding spares for a Bentley, availability from Bentley.
So you're exclusively shopping from Bentley's catalog.
Yes.
You
Yes,
don't have
exactly.
access to any other.
No, you don't. It's not like Toyota. With Toyota, you buy your spares from, you can even get non-genuine Toyota parts. But who makes non-genuine Bentley parts?
yeah, I think you have to really scour the corners of the internet for that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, okay, this is a question that we've been asked, and it always changes depending on the day. But for you, what's the day today? Like Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just say Sunday, 2023,
Yeah.
October. What's your favorite car? Go.
I do not have a favorite car. That's the problem. I don't.
Wait, if you were given one wish
Yeah.
right now to just choose one car for the rest of time.
To be honest, that's a
this
tough
moment,
question.
In this moment.
Yeah,
It can
exactly.
change. Maybe an hour.
It changes. Even 5 minutes from now, I'll tell you it changes. Because now I'm thinking
What's
I'll
on
take
your
a
mind?
200 series Land Cruiser.
I never
From
would have
you,
guessed
I
that.
would have, like,
Yeah,
that's-
exactly.
It's almost like
I know.
sacrilege coming from
Do you have a family we don't know about?
No, not even. I mean, I wanted to say a BMW M3, but I know BMW problems.
Yeah, BM problems will definitely get you. So wait. I've driven a 200 series. I get it. It's a reliable thing. It's
Yeah.
comfy and all, but for me, it was just the size.
Yeah, it's huge.
massive.
Yeah,
It feels
yeah.
like a boat. And
That's
even
the
like
thing.
the way it handles its mass.
Yeah,
The brakes are not, especially if you have the petrol version, like the 570.
yeah.
That thing is too quick for its brakes. And the shocks, the way it's dampened,
Yeah.
just feels a bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's hard to pick a favorite car. I would probably think maybe Ford Ranger Raptor, but then that's a car I don't want. It's like a lifestyle car that,
How come?
because you don't want to own a Ford Ranger Raptor for 3 years.
Why not? I think.
Now talk about the rest of your life. When you start getting Ford problems, then you know.
Oh, then okay. I get Ford problems from maybe the diesel side of things, but
Even
I
the
never
petrols,
imagined even
yeah.
the petrols have it. Okay, that's interesting to know.
It's a really good looking car that.
And the sound.
Yes, exactly.
It's like a full a raised GTR.
You know what's disappointing? So it's pretty much unrivaled, that Raptor. Toyota has the GR, the Australian spec. It looks aggressive with
I've
the
seen it.
yes,
Yeah, I've
exactly,
seen it.
with the wide wheel flares,
Yeah.
the wheel arcs and stuff like that. But it lacks the right engine forward. It's got a
almost like
2.8.
Toyota reacted to like
Too late,
The
because the
previous
previous,
Raptor.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
because that GR is almost a perfect driver for the
Yes,
previous
exactly.
Ranger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the previous Range Raptor had the exact same problem. Everything else is on point, but the engine.
The engine
Yeah,
was
it had a 2-liter that took forever to accelerate.
you've actually you've driven one.
Yes,
You've been in one.
it's slow.
It's slow.
Slow as hell. Yeah.
because I've never actually seen
I
something.
mean, it's not terribly slow, but for something like that, okay, think of it as I don't know. Think of it as something you like so much, and then you realize when you finally experience it how disappointing it is.
Oh yeah, never
Yeah.
meeting your heroes.
Yes,
Well,
exactly.
we've had a lot of those.
And also, given the name Raptor, you're expecting something raucous, something
Yeah,
loud,
yeah.
and unwieldy. And here you've got a little 4-cylinder that's barely making any noise.
Yeah, and to make it worse, the appearance of the car, it's like it's catching a chick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that dude that goes to the gym but's got like a light voice.
That's exactly. That's
That's
it. One
right.
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Okay, so there's been a lot going on right now in the automotive industry.
Yes.
With electrification and the tech-led and interiors of modern vehicles. What's your take on what's going on these days, especially with electrification?
In all honesty, it's disappointing. Electrification, I think we're just trying to turn cars into gadgets. A car is more than just a gadget. A car is more than just, think of it as a phone. That's what they're trying to make cars, soulless.
Just an appliance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well,
Which reminds me of this voice note, a voice recording, a sound trending on Instagram by Jeremy Clarkson when he was saying, "You and I, we are endangered," stuff like that. Have you heard it?
no.
Let me look for it.
Okay. Whilst he's looking for it, I think there's the other problem that we discussed before, where these new car makers, these new cars that are being introduced, EVs, will take nameplates of classic cars
Yeah.
that have like created memories and bonds with people in the car community, right? And they're now electrifying those things. So we did discuss this in a previous podcast.
We did. We talked about that GTI EV concept, and we're like, we're not sure about that. You found it?
Yeah, I've got it. Let me play it.
Are an endangered species,
Let
you
me
and
just go
I.
back one. Right.
We are an endangered species, you and I. We, lovers of speed. We, devotees of power, performance, and noise. Go away, we are told, and take your carbon fibre and your fire-spitting V12s with you. There's hardly a place for us out here anymore. You and I are being squeezed out, pushed aside, and hunted down at every hairpin turn.
But that's pretty true.
That is, yeah.
I thought people loved cars like that, but I learned from when I had a BMW E34 with an M50 B20. So I was running a short pipe, like just after the resonator box. It was wicked loud. And boy, the amount of enemies I made in that time.
But you should have known.
No, I just thought maybe,
It's kind of obvious.
well, I thought people liked cars. Then I truly understood what they meant. Your neighbors would hate you.
The name was, because I think the way you love, or the way we love cars.
Yeah, it's different from everyone else, yeah.
But you might get a nod from someone like, wow, look at that guy he's living the way I would like to live. But
Yeah.
everyone else is just like, what's up with this guy's noisy
Yeah.
BMW?
It was wicked loud and I did stupid things with it every single time, almost.
What's the worst thing that you can remember doing?
Worst thing, mostly burnouts, just sliding out of
I mean, of
turns.
What else?
Yeah.
That should have been obvious.
You know what? I pretty much floored every gear, every single time I drove it. I would pull first, second, third, fourth.
Having fun.
Yeah.
Living
And
the life.
handbrake turns,
Jeez.
all kinds. I've done a clutch after I blew my clutch from trying to spin with an open diff. Never try that.
Oh,
No, you don't.
Never
You
made
just
it
don't
like
do
that.
that, yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, well, to expand on that, I feel like with electrification, it's there's certain cars, I think, or different sectors of cars that I think with electrification might not really work. I mean, we alluded to that briefly in our previous podcast, so we were talking about the hot hatch.
Yes.
Like, when it comes to those cars, it's a bit difficult to convince us that you can have fun with a car like that, because the whole point of that car is to have like a small engine that's practical, that's light, that's enjoyable, something you can just chuck around and everything, and you'll be fine. But with EVs are heavy, and you don't have that sound anymore coming through, and it's
And
just
because hatchbacks were sort of like a younger man,
Yeah.
woman thing, right? You don't have that much money to fix it if it goes wrong. So
Yeah,
you want
yeah.
something that you can also like put your hands on. If it goes wrong, you can fix it yourself. But EVs now, it's
What makes EVs heavy? It's mostly the batteries.
Yeah.
Battery technology is improving. The batteries are carrying more range and getting lighter. So yeah, there's going to be a replacement for our hot hatches in EV form, like an electric Golf, an electric AMG hatchback, maybe with one motor, front wheel drive only, light and quick.
okay.
But what makes a car for me is mostly the sounds, the gear shifts.
the theater, right?
Yeah, the theatrics
vibrations.
of that, yeah.
Yeah, which you won't get with EVs. I was
You
actually
don't, yeah.
watching the Ioniq 5N review on Top Gear recently, and what they're trying to do in order to combat all these things that it doesn't have, they're trying to chuck in all these gimmicks.
Yeah.
So it's got, you know, those sounds you can pipe in through the speakers.
And that's silly.
And you know, this little gimmicks to try and cover up what it's lacking, but those things that it's lacking, you can't really replace. Just put it back in.
I feel electric cars should have their own separate identity without trying to replace the normal petrol cars.
Yeah, because I think that's where they get it wrong most
Yeah.
of the time, because they're trying to mimic what a combustion engine did, or they're trying to invoke the emotion out of people, but using motors, and that's different. Like I think they should just try and use a blank canvas and
Yeah.
just start from scratch.
Exactly, and give them their own identity, separate
Yeah.
experience, something
So-
different.
Something else I wanted to discuss about the new wave in the car industry is, I was on YouTube lately and I was trying to find something to watch. So going through my feed, and I just saw like most of it is just SUV after SUV after SUV, to the point where I saw like a 3-way performance SUV super.
Yeah,
I think I saw that one.
I was like, what? And take me back to like 5 years ago, even like 2 years ago. Those would have been like hot hatches,
Yeah,
maybe
Yeah.
supercars, super saloons.
yeah.
So, what's your take on this whole SUV thing?
The reality of things is that true petrolheads, we are only a fraction of the whole population. Like what I was saying about cars, right? How we see cars as something special. To some people, a car is just a car. So the majority of the people who buy cars, the market dictates what the market wants. They want SUVs, they want something big, something that feels safe. It feels safe to have an accident in a G-Wagon than an accident in a Yaris. I suppose that's what's driving the market more towards SUVs and less of the hatchbacks and sedans and whatnot.
So, do you think that SUVs will eventually overtake or overrun the rest of the car market? So we have less hatchbacks, less saloons, less sports
Yes,
cars.
absolutely. Look at Porsche. Do you know Porsche makes more Cayennes than 911s?
Yeah,
There you have your answer.
We've heard that because we're in that space.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
So,
the same
yeah.
with Lamborghini.
Yes, exactly.
Their best-selling car right now is the Urus.
Exactly, and they've made more Uruses in a year than they've made maybe Aventados in the
Yeah.
last 5 years.
Which is, it's a sad thing to think.
It is.
Yeah, exactly.
It is.
Very sad thing.
And it's all because like people just want, you know, that commanding ride height, and I guess just everyone just wants that as like the new craze.
Yeah.
But if you're going pound for pound, if you really want the space, then
Yeah.
a station wagon would actually suit you.
Yeah,
A station wagon would be better in the sense that you still maintain the same dimensions, really.
Yes, you
have
do.
the space, you have everything, practicalities there, but minus the ride height. That's the
I suppose maybe the ride height. Have you ever driven a car that's so high? I've driven a Hilux that had 35-inch tires. You feel like a god when you're sitting up there. I suppose that's what makes people want SUVs over station wagons. Yeah.
It's funny. I actually ran a poll a few years ago, actually, where I actually interviewed, I think, about 10 women,
Yes.
asking what their favorite car is,
Yeah.
right, from what they know. And pretty much, I think 8 out of the 10
Yes.
chose a GLE coupe,
Yes.
which is unfortunate. But I
Yeah.
asked why, and I think the reason for pretty much all of them was the ride height, but also like how it makes you look, like it sort of like gives you an extra level of authority and power.
Yeah.
So it becomes a bit more psychological in terms of, you know, why people
why
are
people
buying these.
are gravitating towards this.
Yeah.
But there's another person who said something interesting on one of these car podcasts. He was saying like the reason why people wanted to buy SUVs in the beginning, you wanted to be the person who's above towering
Everyone
over
else, yeah,
everyone.
yeah.
But then now everyone's almost like a similar thing.
Yeah.
So I suppose
So-
the next trend, now we're going to see people getting all kinds of suspension to upgrade
Like
their
you said, 35
SUVs.
inch
Yeah.
tires, so-
On their Hilux. And let me tell you, that Hilux is imposing When it's parked next to a 79 series, a standard 79 series Land Cruiser, the Hilux is more commanding. What do you think?
The presence.
Yeah, exactly.
But I guess since we're in almost like conservative markets,
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing you're going to find. But go stateside, you're going to find those Ford
Dodge.
F-150s with those
Yeah,
humongous-
exactly.
I guess that's the move. If you
Yeah.
want to be different and you want to be a bit higher than everyone else, then just go American.
Yeah.
Yep, that's okay, so we spoke a bit about YouTube briefly, and as contributors, we love to, consume a lot of car content online.
Yeah.
What do you follow? Like, what are the channels that you like going to a lot?
Mostly tuner cars. I'll go to someone like Monkey London, someone like OG Battles, a bit of Car Wow.
It's almost impossible.
Yeah, exactly. There's this channel, Living Life Fast from the UK. I'm surprised how I'm gravitating more towards the UK channels and the Cape Town channels, like Liberabil. Yeah,
What's up with it?
tuner cars. In Cape Town, you find an old Corolla with maybe a Bims, an engine from an Alteza going wicked fast. It's mostly, I suppose maybe it's mostly because I'm more drawn to older cars than the newer cars, because I found the newer cars soulless.
It's true. It's
Yeah,
true.
it is.
Yeah.
I think we share the same sentiment.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
If you were to ask us the reverse question,
I'll show you now. Let me just search. You search maybe standard four-cylinder engines, Corollas. You can search maybe SR20 VVL. You'll be attacked by a number of channels from Cape Town. They're daily driven essay, CPT Racing, Cape Town, South Africa. You see,
I see.
yeah.
So it's more of cars that you can relate to, cars that you can also find here.
Yes, exactly. And also the cars we grew up around.
So you want to
Nissan
see like,
Sentras.
those cars taken to their maximum.
Yes,
potential.
exactly. Not their maximum, but to a level where I can get mine.
Oh, so you're looking for your cooking.
Yeah,
You're looking for
exactly.
inspiration.
That's it, yeah.
So you're cooking.
Yeah.
So should we expect something in the future? Maybe.
Yeah.
Some crazy build
I think
or
something along the lines of a 2JZ GE with an aftermarket management.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
It's a BMW, but I'm thinking I should go M52 B28, which is a BMW engine,
wait, what's that?
an E34.
E34. Okay, what? No, I mean the engine, like.
The engine is from a Dolphin, 2.8 liter
so it's
engine.
like one of those shark nose type, like those.
No, it's an E34. It's the 5 Series from the period of the Gush.
Isn't that the first M5? The one of the first M5?
Second.
Second.
The second
Yeah.
one.
First one is an E28. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, now I know more than you. Yeah, dude.
I concede. I concede.
Okay, that's pretty cool, because I think for us it's almost similar. Like for us, it's a combination of like what's come out, like what's the recent thing that's been going on,
Yeah.
and then also mix that with the builds, because the builds are quite exciting, especially
Yeah.
with cars that we see here. And like I was astonished to find just how big the Honda Fit community is in terms of, and also the diversity.
Yeah,
you find
yeah.
people doing rallycross with Fits, doing track days with Fits. It's incredible.
outside of them.
Outside of
Yeah.
Zim.
I saw
On the fit is really good.
I saw a Turbo K24 Honda Fit on TRC the other day, and it was wicked fast.
Have you seen the guy with the 1000? Is it I don't know
1,000
if it's just a
horsepower.
caption, but there's
Yeah.
a 1000 horsepower on the fit.
I think
There's
that's
like
the
a
one I
black
saw.
dude, chubby guy.
No.
who's shifting
Oh yeah,
gears in
that's
the
Oh, that guy.
what's his name?
I don't know.
I don't know. I just know
The
that
shift's
remember the shift.
wicked. Yeah. DMO DJ, something like it. Yeah.
Is that like an actual 1000 horsepower? Or is it
Yeah,
just for the,
should be 1,000 proper. K24.
that's crazy.
Boss.
So, like,
mental.
Those engines Mac power.
through the front tires.
Yes.
That guy is
It's a K swap
insane.
with a billet box. So imagine.
I think that's too much investment for on the fit though.
No, I think maybe it's because we've been sort of like,
We see Honda Fits doing all kinds of silly things.
yeah.
Even things they're not.
Yeah, like
meant
them
to be.
shika Honda Fits. So it automatically makes you lose respect for a Honda Fit. No one aspires to own a Honda Fit.
But then it's not just Honda Fit. I've also noticed there's some cars that you look at here in Zen, many people look at them and they're like, this car is...
And Alteza, for example.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect example, Alteza.
But Alteza is the thing that made it unpopular is unique to this country. Like, the type of the Alteza driver is an interesting being.
It's almost like they're being manufactured somewhere because they're all the same. It's like Toyota Wish drivers. They all do the exact same thing.
Which is unfortunate. See, I think the problem in Zimbabwe is no one wants or no one dares to think outside the box. Everyone wants to do what's been done. So if you put like that cage, that, what's it called, the item that holds the luggage, that net, if you put it on your grill and you think it looks good and someone, you see, automatically, exactly.
We've asked that question multiple times.
I remember even reading on your Drive Tribe.
Yes, if someone has the answer, please, like,
what
put it in the
purpose
comments.
does it serve?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Because it doesn't look good, so it can't be that. So what is it? What is it?
And also, I think it's a rare thing, you know, because you see a car with so many unnecessary stickers, all put in the wrong way. It's not even visual attracting.
You see an N badge on a CRV.
Yeah, exactly. Go to Blawayo.
Explain yourself.
Go to Blawayo, it's different. Blawayo mods are simple. They invest a lot of their money into the sound system.
And I think appearance.
Yes.
Because I've seen like even like the combis in Hawaii.
Yeah.
They always look clean. And
Yes, exactly.
Like these multi-spoke BBS look at like rims.
Yeah.
With a white chalk on the
Yes,
tires.
exactly.
This
Yes.
guy is really vibing with it.
You know, simple mods in Blawayo, exhaust, just a decent, loudish exhaust. No tint. It's important in Blawayo. No tint.
Why is that?
I don't know. It just makes a car look nicer. An old car. An old car with no tint just looks all kinds of good.
And it's as long as it's in good condition.
And it's clean.
It's clean.
Yeah,
it's all
exactly.
better for it.
I think the most beautiful Golf I've seen was in Blawayo, a Mark 1 with a VR6. Yeah. That was nice.
Careful. This guy was about to drool all over.
Speaking of YouTube, what content do you guys watch? Normal reviews.
Well, for me, I've been watching a lot of JM on Carz.
All right.
So he's like this.
Yes, I also watch JM.
Yeah,
Yes.
British automotive reviewer. So what he does is he does a lot of like used cars, but sometimes he does a lot of like obscure cars.
Yes,
like Alfa Romeos,
Yes.
like from the 80s and 90s, which is something that you're never really gonna find anywhere else. And it's quite comprehensive when he does it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I like to watch on version.
Well, for me, I've sort of exhausted the car reviews. Like
even me.
I watch some reviews here and there, but most of the time I'm watching like unique stuff, like crazy builds, but mostly in the States.
Yeah.
So I also like watching drag races, the Hoonigan channel.
Yeah.
They do like this versus that.
Yeah.
They even have like a new one. It's like off-road, this versus that.
Yeah.
So people just show up with their custom builds and just interesting stuff.
Yeah.
But whenever I exhaust the car scene, I move to bikes because I'm also into bikes.
All right.
So I was like,
I think in my case, I think it's an issue of attention span. It's hard for me to have 10 minutes to watch a YouTube video on cars. If I'm spending 10 minutes on a video, it's probably something occult, spiritual, or something like it. No, let me tell you, vibrations and stuff like that, you know, just to learn more about the hidden secrets.
Okay.
Or even stuff we don't really pay attention to. Coincidences, like the numbers 1111. Yeah.
I was like, let's get
No.
That
Just
could
to
have been
learn
like
more.
our title for the episode.
occult car enthusiast.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay, so to wrap things up, I just want to ask you one last question.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things that are going on within the Zimbabwean automotive industry.
Yes.
I mean, one of the things is like we talked about it earlier on, like everyone is buying the same car and there's not much diversity.
Yes.
What would you like to change? Like where would you like the automotive industry within Zimbabwe to go? Like what direction do you see?
Right, that's a good question. Genuinely, what I really hope for is to see maybe more car dealerships coming into the country, because that's the limiting thing. Everyone wants to have maybe an Alfa Romeo or any other fancy car, but without the backing then it doesn't make sense for you to own a car for which you cannot find the spares.
Yeah, I
Or
guess
service.
Yes, or
Sorry,
service.
servicing, yeah.
Yes.
you have to be like really committed
Yes.
to that
So,
brand.
yes, so that explains why people buy pretty much the same cars, Hiluxes, Prados, Honda Fits, Land Cruisers and the likes. Because if you crash, okay, not like you want to crash, but considering our roads and the bad drivers on Zimbabwean roads, it's bound to happen one day. Someone will bump your bumper, scratch you or something, And it's unfortunate with most of these cars, the newer cars, a lot of the panels are going plastic or some carbon composite, in which case you have to replace the bumper. You cannot fix it.
Can't fix it,
Yeah,
Buff it out.
yeah, you can make a plan, but 3 months down the line, it's already starting to peel, so rather you just replace. So you don't want now to spend 2 months waiting on a bumper.
Yeah,
The car is driving, everything is perfectly fine. Just buy what you can get spares for.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
I've got two answers to my own question. Firstly, I want the Mbingas in Zimbabwe to have a wider palette when it comes to their taste. Everyone
Yeah,
is buying
yeah.
Rolls Royces
Yeah.
and Maybachs. Switch it up. Why don't you buy a Bentley? No,
Maybe-
not
maybe
a
they
Bentley,
should-
but an Aston Martin.
Do you know
or
what
like-
car I genuinely wish I would see in Zimbabwe one day?
What is
The
that?
Ferrari Pero Sangue.
Why?
I don't know.
Dude, you're changing.
Yeah, you really are
growing.
changing. Like,
You're betraying.
No, I'm just saying,
I'm
the
kidding.
Mbingas, they've got the money to buy Uruses and stuff.
Yeah.
Why not be different? A big man would buy a Ferrari.
No, you should
Okay.
put that on a t-shirt.
for me, I'm like, if you're a Mbinga, right, why don't you buy something that's like different?
Yes.
But I guess you have to be like an enthusiast, because I would like them to buy like things like Corvettes and things like that.
Exactly.
Those things are like cheap.
Yes.
Exactly.
And even a
Parts are
vet,
available.
yes, you can get spares for a vet easy from Dubai, from the States.
Yeah, it's
Easy.
only an issue of waiting.
Yeah, it's just a matter of waiting. But for those guys, they can afford to wait. They've got like 20 cars lying in the
Exactly.
drive.
So
Yeah, exactly.
What do they care? Just
Yeah.
do it for us. Excite
So the
fans.
problem is, a lot of Zimbabwean people are not car person at heart. They use cars as a way of expression.
Yeah.
Like,
How
I've
much
got
money?
money,
How much money?
I'm gonna buy a G-Wagon. I've got money, I'm gonna buy the new Maybach, that GOS 600 Maybach. If I've got money, maybe I should buy a 300 series Land Cruiser.
And you can notice the true enthusiasts who've
Yeah.
got money, because typically they don't go for the flashy like cars.
Yeah, exactly.
They actually buy the more.
Come to think of it, if I was to buy a car that I would have my whole life, I think I'd buy that Alfa Rolex GTA. Yes.
Okay, now I'm gonna draw.
No, but there's like a six-week waiting list for parts to arrive.
No, it's not 6 weeks. Maybe for the parts, yes.
No, I mean if you ding it, if you crash
Yes.
it, or because that's like
But-
proper exclusive.
Yes, exactly. But that I would buy.
That you buy.
And now for Rolex, Ish, I just want
That's
that.
special, right?
You know what
I
cars
can
I
hear
want?
the ITVs in my head.
You can, yeah. You know, an Alfa Rolex or a roof,
No.
Yeah.
any roof.
Yeah.
Any roof.
A
Dude,
turbo
yellow-
roof, a
yellow
non-turbo
badge,
roof.
CTR2.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's the poster, like for me, that's
Yeah.
the car. I remember Gran Turismo 4, 5, 6, playing with my brother.
Yeah.
That's the car I'd normally go for.
Or even an RWB Porsche, yeah.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
for those who didn't notice, he's actually
Yeah, yeah.
wearing the t-shirt too.
And by the way, yeah, well, I mean, maybe I'll side note.
No, do your shameless plug, right? That's right.
Okay, no stress. All right, you guys, say you want, I mean, let me just turn around a bit and show you what it looks like behind. I make these shirts for just about $10. $10 only.
$10 on.
Yeah,
So that's a wonderful plug. I think I will order one.
yeah,
just to support the.
thanks.
Okay, and then my second answer to that question, though, is because we don't have established brick and mortar dealerships. There are now like a lot of those
Yeah,
car sales opening up. Pretty much every street has
Yes,
like about
exactly.
10. But then you find that you don't really have a lot of peace of mind when it comes to those things, because you're buying a car, you don't know the history of it,
Yes.
you don't know anything. So I wish that if you're buying a car from them, you actually have like tools. Like I know in the UK there are apps like Car Vertical,
Yeah.
which gives you a detailed history of the car. Like, if it was an accident, it shows everything.
Yeah.
You need that history so that you can make an informed decision on
Yes,
the car. Because
exactly.
the car is something that's quite expensive to buy. You don't just wake up and buy it.
You know
Listen,
what's said? What's said with the car sales? So they do a lot of facelifts. They'll take like a 2013 Range Rover, facelift it to like a 2021. They'll sell it to a guy who doesn't know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I've seen people
and
do
you
that
pay
a lot.
2021 price. I mean,
Price,
fuck,
yeah.
that's just not fair.
I think, yeah.
Especially with the Land Cruisers, the 200 series, you get like a 2009 facelifted to like
And that's the
2021.
biggest perpetrator.
Yeah.
I know
The
about-
200
I know about
series.
2 guys in my contact
Yeah,
that
yeah.
do exactly that.
Yeah.
And but there's a quick way to tell because there's some areas where they're not quite up to standard up.
Yeah.
So you can
Well,
you
mostly
can always,
because they use non-genuine kits,
Kits.
Dubai parts, Chinese parts.
but
You
not,
can
it's
never.
on the interior. Where you
Yes,
pick it
exactly.
up, like,
Yeah.
I saw one Lexus 570 with like a 10-inch.
Yes, exactly.
screen.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, wait. Something's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
right
yeah,
with
yeah.
Make it make sense.
Yeah. So yeah, I think people have to be more conscious about
Especially
what they
with
buy.
facelifts, Range Rovers, Land Cruisers. Yeah, that's where it's mostly being done. Prados. But it's mostly Land Cruisers and Range Rovers. You take a 2013 Range Rover Sport, facelift it 2021, done, easy.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. It's a bit of a wild west situation going on in Zim regarding the car industry. But yeah, we're hoping, like what you said,
Yeah,
that these things improve. Like we have more
tools.
official manufacturers coming here to set up shop
Yeah.
and sell their products. Because people, as we can see, people are buying these cars. They got the money for it. Where they got it is a different issue altogether. But
Yeah.
they are willing to buy. And I like how people like Zimoko are trying to do that. Zimoko
Yeah.
sells Alphas
yeah,
along with GWMs and Navals, along with the Mercedes. So at least they're trying to diversify a little bit. Maybe if other manufacturers also take note of that, maybe that might help. But yeah, we'll see where that goes. But I think we'll have to cut it here. I think this is one of the longest episodes we've done. But this was really, really fun to do. Gerald, thank you so much for coming. This was really
always a
exciting.
pleasure. Right, cheers.
And as always, guys, you can follow us, Z-CarCulture, on all social media platforms. You're going to find this podcast on all podcast platforms as well as on YouTube. And if you also want to follow Gerald, you can also go to Carz of ZW on Instagram.
Yes, Instagram and YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah.
Be sure to check that out. And as always, guys, if you're looking for a place to just chill and relax and enjoy a good meal, be sure to come to Afrotopia Cafe. We've got lovely meals here as well as atmosphere. I'm sure you can tell the background behind us. It's quite colorful, it's quite different, it's quite exciting to be here. So be sure to visit them and just check them out. Otherwise, guys, that's about it from us as Z-CarCulture, and we'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.
Cheers.
We out. What number is this one?
I just remembered